Hello, my name is Katinka. I'm a third year medical student at Queen's University Belfast, and today we will be looking at an introduction to medical school interviews. Our objectives for today's session will be looking at the background of the interviews, so giving you some brief information about why the medical schools have decided to interview their candidates. Then we will be looking at the format of those interviews, whether they're going to be traditional or multiple mini interviews. Then I will be providing you with some tips and tricks on how to showcase your talents and how to keep calm during your interviews. And then we'll be summing up with the key points of our session. So, why interviews, you might wonder? Well, medical schools have chosen to interview their students to see who you are and why you want to be a doctor. Because what better way of answering these questions other than face to face? Then they will also be looking you they will also be looking at your values and your skills. They will be evaluating you as a person, and they will want to make sure that your qualities and your skills will be aligned to those of a medical student and those of a future doctor. Moreover, your interviews will allow you to show your experience and your enthusiasm. They will give you an opportunity to talk about your past experiences, your motivation, and your skills. Now, looking at the format of the interviews, the medical schools in the United Kingdom usually take either one of these two main interview formats. So it's either going to be a traditional interview where you're going to have one or sometimes more panels of interviewers asking you questions for 20 or 30 minutes straight. Or in contrast, you might get a multiple mini interview or an MMI, as I will be referring to it from now on, which consists of 6 or 7 different stations with different interviewers. So you will be basically moving on from one interviewer to the other, who's going to ask you different questions or is going to ask you to do different tasks. Now, for the traditional interviews, the questions can look at your motivation, your work experience, your interpersonal skills, your creativity, your interest in the field, and even your medical knowledge to some extent. On the other side, for MMIs, some stations may also ask traditional questions such as why do you want to study medicine, or what's your work experience, or why do you want to study at this medical school. But in the meantime, others may involve simulated patients or different real life scenarios. So you might enter one station and find a simulated patient to whom you will have to speak, or to whom you will have to, have a conversation, give them some news or ideas like that. Now, in terms of what aspects you'll have to keep in mind for both the traditional and the MMIs. So, for traditional interviews, you will be sat with the same interviewer throughout the whole interview. So, the people will not change. You will have the same person you will be chatting with for those 20 or 30 minutes. Then on the other side, for MMIs, each station will be a new beginning with a new panel and a new challenge. So, you can move on from the previous station and forget about that and focus on what's going to come up next. Then for traditional interviews, they will be quite slow paced at times, and they will still be covering many aspects, because even if you're going to have 30 minutes with the same interviewer, you might sometimes find yourself in the situation when they are going to be interrupting your answer and will be asking you to move on to the next question, just to make sure that they're covering all the questions that they have to cover with the candidate. Now, for MMIs, they will seem more fast paced because you will have to move from one station to the next in 5 minutes or 6 minutes or 7 minutes. That depends on the medical school, but it's generally going to be under 10 minutes. In that time, you'll have for one station, and then you'll have to move to the next one, then to the next one, and so on and so forth. So you wouldn't have an extreme amount of time for each station. Therefore, they might seem a bit fast paced because you will always have to keep an eye on your timer. Now, moving on to our best tips and tricks for how to showcase your talents and how to keep calm during any kind of interview you will be attending. So, our first and most important tip is that you'll have to know and always keep in mind that you are the best candidate. You'll have to always think that you are there because you deserve it. They invited you to that interview because they thought you have the potential of becoming a medical student. So, never forget that and never let yourself down. Then you will have to also do your research. You will have to know what the hot topics of the moment are, as well as what the challenges the NHS is facing are. So, make sure you're familiar with topics like COVID, vaccination, waiting lists, and ideas like that. Everything that the NHS is facing at the moment could be a question that will test your research and your interest in the topic. Then you will also have to use the interview as a mean to prove your medical knowledge and to prove your interest in the field. So you will have to demonstrate your insight by always backing up your answers with examples from your background reading, from the books you've read, from the articles you've read. So make sure that in your interviews you will never leave any affirmation without an example. Always make sure to back up your sentences with examples from your own knowledge. Then you will also have to stay calm during your interview. Make sure you're not going to panic by any means. Try and keep calm, take a deep breath, and enjoy your experience, because each question will be a new chance to impress them. And trust me, everyone is anxious during that period. So make sure that you're going to be keeping calm and that you're going to be enjoying your experience. Then, as I was saying, you will have to enjoy your experience because it's a unique opportunity. And even if you might feel like it didn't go as well as you were planning to, it's going to be a good learning experience for your upcoming interviews. So take the experience as something enjoyable and make the most of it. Then you will also have to trust yourself, but please do not be arrogant. It's okay to believe in yourself. It's okay to be calm and to be on top of the situation, but never show off, never seem arrogant, because those are not things that you would like a doctor to act like. So arrogance has nothing to do with a medical school interview. Then you will also have to research the medical school. You will want to know all about their curriculum, their opportunities, and their teaching. Make sure that you know whether it's going to be an integrated curriculum, whether it's going to be something which is more practical based or more theoretical focused. Make sure that you know whether they're offering dissection or prosection. Make sure you know if they're going to be offering you clinical opportunities from year 1 or year 3, or whether you're going to be interacting with patients. Also, make sure that you know if there's any outstanding research that university is doing, or if there are any outstanding teachers who are teaching at that university. So make sure you know everything about that environment, because that's going to be extremely useful information in case you will ever be asked, why do you want to study at our medical school in particular? So make sure you do research that medical school, and you can do that by visiting their website. It's not hard to find, and it's going to be very useful for your interview. Then, last but not least, you will have to know what type of interview you will be attending. Is it going to be a traditional interview? Is it going to be a panel interview? Will there be any group tasks, maybe? So make sure that you get that information and that you understand and that you are preparing accordingly to what kind of interview you will be attending. That information can be either found on your university's website, or you might get it in the email in which they're inviting you to the interview. So make sure you get hold of that information and you prepare accordingly. Now, summing up, our key points for today would be that first of all, you will have to keep calm. Do not let your emotions steal the big day from you, the day for which you have prepared so hard. Secondly, you will have to practice, practice, practice. There's no better way to prepare for interviews other than practice. Use every opportunity you're given to practice. Use your friends, use your family, even use your mirror, or even a screenshot on Zoom can be okay, simply because um, that's going to help you watch your body movements. It's going to help you watch your facial movements. And those are all important points you will have to pick up on while you're preparing for your interview. Ask for feedback from your family, from your friends, and let them know that you need them to prepare, that you need them in your preparation pathway for your interview. Then make sure that you know everything about the medical school. Make sure that you have a lot of knowledge with regards to the medical school you're going to, what they're offering, and who is teaching there. Then, last but not least, if you feel like you need further advice, you can use our website. You can visit our website, theaspiringmedics.co.uk, and there you're going to find a lot of very useful information with regards to your upcoming medical school interviews. Thank you.
To unlock the rest of the videos in this category, make sure to purchase the Aspiring Medics online interview course. We have over 50 videos covering 7 categories, including COVID-19, the NHS, and medical ethics. Head on over to www.theaspiringmedics.co.uk today to ace your med school interview.